welcome back into Beyond the Rings. I, of course, am joined here today by absolute Olympic royalty and Sun Devil swim and dive head coach, Bob Bowman. Bob, thank you so much for taking the time to be on today and sit down with us.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I just got to start off by asking, how are you, your team, and your loved ones doing during this very tumultuous time?
Well, fortunately, my family's all good. Everyone has been healthy. It's been quite a past 6 months trying to live through all of these things, but that has been good. Our team is doing quite well. We've been healthy, knock on wood, and have started full practices. So it's been great to kind of get back into our routine.
Your team, I believe I read you guys have 31 Olympic qualifiers on your team, whether it be in the United States or from other countries. It's a lot of Olympians on one team. Yeah. So, of course, everyone was kind of gearing up and looking towards this summer, towards Tokyo 2020. What was your first reaction when you did hear that news? The pandemic had already set in at that point, that the Olympic Games would be postponed until 2021.
I was very happy with it. And, I actually, in whatever degree, played a role in getting them postponed. I was probably one of the first people to speak out about that they should be postponed.
Right.
So when that happened, I was very happy because these kids deserve another year to get back to their training level and to have an Olympics, which is like a real Olympics, not just something that was kind of put in or, and God forbid they didn't want to miss one. So it was, I think, a wise decision.
What advice have you been giving then to your swimmers in order to keep them motivated and essentially keep them going towards Tokyo 2021?
I don't think they needed any motivation. They want to do it, right? And the question is, are you willing to train another year and go? And all of them weren't. I do think there's some people that maybe were not, but not here. So I think for them, in some cases, they felt like, wow, this is an extra year to get better. So that was good.
Nora DeLusky being as unselfish as she is as a swimmer. I want to go back though. Do you remember the first time that you saw her and what caught your eye about her, like just as an athlete, as a student, as an individual?
Yeah, the first time I saw her, she swam at the U.S. Nationals in Seattle in 2015. We're going back now. Yeah. And she was a very good breaststroker. So that was what caught my eye. She was a very good 200 breaststroker. And then I met her after that in the recruiting process and really just, I wanted her on our team. The more we talked, the more I knew she needed to be on the team because she's just a positive person. She has positive energy all the time. She works very, very hard and is just a wonderful teammate. So she has the whole package. It's what we're looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned it as a swimmer, as an individual, she has the whole package. Despite all that she's accomplished, she had a family at home that she ended up having to leave behind when the pandemic first broke out. She was telling me that she literally moved back to Arizona to give her family space because her mother was a frontline worker and continues to still be a frontline worker.
Yeah.
When you hear that one of your swimmers went through something like that, on top of everything else that occurred with school moving online, with their Olympic dreams being postponed another year, what goes through your mind when you hear something like that?
Well, you just want to make sure that you're taking care of them the best we can, right? We want to make sure she knows she's not alone in this, that we're all together, and that, we're giving her every resource that we can to sort of deal with it. And, in Nora's case, she doesn't need much. She's very self-sufficient. Her parents have, raised her to be self-sufficient. So it's a tribute to them that she handled it so well.
That's what all of 2020 has been. One moment after another where you just have to keep moving forward.
For sure. Because, it's like, I'll give you a little personal story. It's kind of like, 2020, I've been very stressed out about during the time where we didn't have practice, like, what are we going to do?
Right.
Like, the kids are doing something. I don't really know what. What are we going to do when they come back? Right. And, every day I would just be like, hey, just reach out to one of them and give them a positive something. Right. And then that's what I can do. Right. So I would try to pick different people and try to reach out and just say, hey, how are you? What's going on? And try to go at it like that. And I was just doing that kind of on a daily basis. And after about a week or two, I had this day where I just like felt really good. And I remember I was like, I haven't felt like really good in a long time. You know what I mean? But if you just keep going long enough, those days come back. So then I was like, well, let's see if I can have another one tomorrow, or, you know, what can I do to keep this going? So I think it's a lot about just endurance and just getting up and doing what you can do.
I saw Olympic rings in your background right there.
Yeah.
Can you just describe what that photo is and why it's hanging right there?
That's a poster from the Athens Olympic Games.
Okay.
We kind of have those everywhere, you know. There's one there. There's some USA stuff. Yeah, we have the rings kind of everywhere around here because we want people to think big, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that's how it works.
But for you, as someone who has been to so many Olympic Games, who has been to so many events just revolving around what it means to be an Olympian, what do you think that day will be like when Tokyo 2021 does get to begin? What do you think that day will be like, not only for athletes on your team, but just athletes around the world?
It'll be a great day, and I hope that it will sort of signal that the craziness of the past year is over, and we're going to kind of move on to something that we love to do and will be better. So I think if we get there and there's a successful Olympics, that will definitely be a great thing for the whole world, not just athletes.
Much like Michael Phelps, who you formerly coached, you know, Michael went to the Olympic Games at 15 years old. Nora DeLusky punched her first ticket to Olympic trials when she was just 16. Can you describe how big of a deal that is for somebody to punch their ticket to an Olympic trials when they haven't even graduated high school yet?
Well, it's for a high school swimmer, it is a very good accomplishment. You know, the way that I try to get people to understand what it means to make the Olympic trials, it's 0.5% of swimmers in the United States will ever swim at the Olympic trials. Can you imagine that? 0.5% of total swimmers in America will ever swim at Olympic trials. And of them, you know, of the people at the trials, 10% of the 0.5% will actually go to the Olympics. So it's a very hard thing, but to just be in the trials, you are so elite, it's even hard to describe to people who aren't involved in swimming. So it's a very big deal to make it when you're in high school.
Put one of your goals as your passwords. Mm-hmm. Where did you learn that from?
I made it up myself.
You made it up yourself, and it seems
like it usually. It started way back in probably 2000, but then after a while, my definitely was Athens Gold 2004, and then it was Beijing Gold 2008. You know what I mean? I would kind of keep adding them, but it would be something like that would be my passwords. So every time I logged into something, you just have a little reminder about what we're doing.
When you look back on this time, when you look back on how tumultuous everything has been, is there a specific word or phrase that comes to mind for you that has allowed you to kind of stay positive and continue working towards your team's goals and towards your own personal goals?
Wow. You know, I just, whenever I'm talking to my team or thinking about really this year or any year, you know, I just feel like the thing that we can do best is, you know, I try to prepare the child for the path, not the path for the child, right? So that kind of gets back to that. I want them to know that they have the wherewithal and the tools to deal with any situation that comes up. And that's my main job as a coach or a teacher, is to prepare them to be self-sufficient and independent and successful in challenging situations on the things that we've taught them in swimming. So that's kind of where it goes back to me. It's not really a phrase, but that's how I think about it.